What is going on, NCTI friends? Welcome back to another episode of Wired Wisdom Tech Talk, presented by NCTI. This series allows us the freedom to check out the latest in broadband tech and talk to you about it. Today's Wired Wisdom episode is about the cooler than hot go-to solution tool that has been resisting weather while making long-lasting connections since 2017. We're talking about Cable Prep's cable heating tool, appropriately named the Heat Prep. So throw away your lighters because it's about to get hot in here. A couple years ago, our friends at Cable Prep introduced this heating prep tool at the Cable Tech Expo, and since then, this heating tool has gained significant interest among broadband professionals. The purpose of this tool is to safely heat up coaxial cable without damaging the dielectric, making it easier to install fittings without damaging the cable. Now, it's been some time since I've been in the field, but I still remember using a butane lighter on those cold days to get fittings onto my cable drop. During the time, I really didn't think about the damage I was inflicting on the cable. I was thinking, instead of using brute force when slipping on a connector, I could use a lighter to heat up the cable to restore the cable's pliability, thus allowing the connector to smoothly slip on. Okay, let's talk about the butane lighter. We know that coaxial cable utilizes various plastics in the outer jacket and the dielectric surrounding the center conductor. These materials typically have low melting points, under 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and really should not be heated above 190 degrees Fahrenheit. A normal butane lighter burns at approximately 3,578 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that a butane lighter is nearly 19 times hotter than it needs to be for heating coaxial cable. Now I know what you're thinking. As long as I hold the lighter away and move it back and forth, it will never get that hot. Well, how do you know that you haven't compromised the cable's integrity? The burn temperature of a butane lighter can melt dielectric in 3 seconds, which immediately damages at least 6 inches of cable due to the thermal conductivity applied to the aluminum braid and or center conductor. The problem here is that the installer has no visibility to that damage. So what type of damage are we talking about? Well, there are 2 major things that occur. Electrically, a change in impedance, and mechanically, a lack of support to connector and cable interface. A change in impedance causes an unwanted loss in signal strength due to microreflections on the cable, and as a result, adds noise to the signal, or ultimately, there is no signal at all. Another problem that can occur is the shifting of the center conductor due to the dielectric softening. Dielectric softening causes the center conductor to move closer to the shielding. If the center conductor and the shielding touch, signal never makes it past that touching point. Mechanically speaking, the heat introduced to the outer jacket causes it to soften to the point that it's possible for the connector to pull away from the cable, creating a suck out within the fitting. This ultimately leads to issues within the return path and intermittent connectivity. Okay, now that we know that the butane lighter is not the most ideal instrument for heating cable, let's move on to discussing the heat prep tool. The heat prep tool safely heats coaxial cable to 190 degrees Fahrenheit in approximately 10 seconds. Being that 190 degrees Fahrenheit is well below the 250 degree melting point of the various coaxial plastics within the coaxial cable, there is no possibility of inflicting damage to the coaxial cable. Also, due to the design of the heat prep tool, the circumference of the cable end is heated uniformly and directly. Let's put the heat prep tool into action. To put the heat prep tool to test, we will use Plenum Series 6 and 11 cable, flooded Series 11 cable, flooded direct burial Series 6, flooded Series 6 cable, as well as standard house Series 6 cable, and a 3-year-old standard 6 cable that has been left outside to weather. We're going to put all these cables to test under freezing conditions. See you outside. So as you can see, it's pretty cold outside. I just looked at my phone, it's 36 degrees, so I think this is pretty much the ideal place, or temperature I should say, to put a fitting on. We're going to do this 3 ways. So I'm going to try to put a fitting on a cable using just brute force with no heat. I'm going to do it with a lighter, and I'm also going to do it with the heat prep tool. So let's do this. All right, so we have flooded Series 6 here. I'm going to try this a couple different ways. So the first time will be brute force. Oh, I got it. Ah, like butter. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Even easier than the lighter. Perfect, let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is flooded direct bury. So this step typically would be harder because it's in the ground for a much longer time than flooded itself. You'd find that in conduit. So let's try this out. That went on pretty smooth. Pretty good. I don't even know if I need to use a lighter on this one. And it's already putting some char marks onto the cable. And that slides on just as good, just as easy as brute force. So I would imagine that on flooded direct burial, being this new, that it's going to be just as easy. Just as easy. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is your standard Series 6, your house cable. So let's take a look at this. This should be pretty easy too, I would imagine. So we'll try it off here with just putting it on. Oh yeah, that went almost too easy. Flush in the center there. And now with the cable prep tool. Yeah, like butter, just like all the other ones. Inconclusive, but that was easier. Let's move on. All right, so we have some flooded direct burial, Series 11. I would imagine this would be a little bit harder. We'll try it out. These are already recessed, so I don't have to push them in. And that went on way too smoothly. So I would feel that at this point, even with a lighter, that it's going to do the same thing. But I'll take this side off, put that back in. Not that I would need a lighter on this. Yeah, just as easy. Too easy. Moving on. So this is old cable. So this has been aged 3 years outdoors and then cut and prepped for us to put fittings on. I don't know how much brute force this will be, but that was almost too easy. Flush on the center, perfect. Just to crimp it and be done. A bit of a wind here. This one's unaffected by wind, so we'll just let it heat up. Perfect. Move on to the next one. All right, so we have Platinum 6 and Platinum Series 11. These have their own fittings with them. So we'll start with 6 and then we'll move on to 11. So far, that first cable, the flooded cable, the non-direct bury was the hardest one, but easiest with a lighter and with the heat prep tool. So we'll try Platinum. I would imagine this to be a little bit more rigid. I can't get this on. I'm gonna break my hands. Let's try with the lighter. Ow, burnt my finger already. Problem with this lighter, it doesn't, you have to keep turning it and it goes out. Let's try that. Well, it's going. Well, I doubled the distance but didn't make it. So let's try with the heat prep tool. Well, that one's pretty hard, but I did it. Good to go. It's in there. A little bit more. Perfect. Easy enough. Here we go. 11 So let's just try it with my hands. Oh, there's no way. If it wasn't for this cold, nope, I'm not gonna even try it. That's gonna hurt me. I know, it's been some years since I've been in the field. Easy, better, but nothing. I'm already bleeding. All right, let's try a different cable. Use the heat prep tool on this one. Up, right on. Went on. That's awesome. Perfect. And that concludes. All right, so as far as kind of a summary on this, I think by just sticking the cable on without any heat, for the most part was easy enough on most of the cables. Plenum obviously was a nightmare, and so was the direct burial flooded was a little bit harder. But for the most part, all of them, even under these conditions, was pretty easy. The lighter, every one of them went on. Plenum still was a little bit of a nightmare, but I did notice burning of the cable jacket, the smell, and then I burnt myself a couple times. The cable prep tool, every single one was super easy, even the ones that were hard, and even Plenum, so every one of the Plenum ones on. So I would definitely say cable prep wins that contest there. All in all, the heat prep tool is a great tool and well worth the money. The cost of this tool alone, around $130 to $140, pays for itself and save truck rolls while achieving that lifetime installation that all the cable companies want for their customers. Some technicians or companies may look at this price as a deterrent to investing in it. Just remember that heating up cable with a butane lighter will ultimately cause trouble calls. Even if the cable visually appears in good condition, it most likely isn't. So what other products would you like me to highlight? Leave a name down below and I'll search it out, or if you're a company that would like me to check out your product, email me at wiredwisdom@ncti.com. Well, that does it for me. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and hit subscribe to catch the latest Wired Wisdom videos as they are released. Thanks a lot and be safe out there.